Once upon a time, in the quiet village of Umoy, there lived a woman so breathtakingly beautiful that men forgot their own names the moment their eyes met hers. Her name was Nkem. Her skin glowed like freshly pressed palm oil, her eyes sparkled like morning dew, and her smile, oh, her smile, had the power to melt even the coldest, angriest heart. Whispers of her beauty drifted through the air like the scent of ripe fruit. Women watched her with envy. Men followed her with awe. When she walked through the market, traders forgot their prices, men dropped whatever they were holding, and even the birds paused their songs to marvel at her. An old woman once sighed, shaking her head. "This kind of beauty is dangerous," she murmured. But Nkem was more than just beautiful, she was wise. She knew the hold she had over men and guarded herself fiercely. "No touching before marriage," she always said, drawing a firm line that no man dared to cross. They praised her for her virtue, admired her for her dignity, but Nkem alone knew the truth. Her rule wasn't about virtue. It was about the secret she had carried all her life. If a man ever touched her, if a man ever saw what lay hidden between her thighs, he would never remain the same. So she smiled, she laughed, she let them adore her from afar, but she never let anyone come too close, until Nkem. He was unlike any man she'd ever met, gentle, kind, and with a heart as pure as freshly tapped palm wine. From the moment he saw her at the village stream, he was captivated. "This one," he told himself, "this is the woman I will marry." And so he pursued her, offering gifts, singing her praises, whispering sweet promises. "Nkem, you are the light in my world." Nkem smiled, laughed, but kept her distance. "No touching before marriage," she reminded him. Nkem didn't mind. "You are a good woman," he said, his love unwavering. "I will wait." For months they courted, and the village watched with eager anticipation. "At last Nkem will marry," they whispered. When Nkem came to her father's house with his people and knelt before her, asking, "Marry me, Nkem. Be the mother of my children," she smiled. She liked him. He was kind, he made her laugh, but deep in her heart fear stirred. Still she said yes. The village erupted with joy. Drums beat, women danced, children sang her name. "Nkem the beautiful is getting married." Even the elders declared it the grandest wedding they had ever seen, but the true night, the real test, came after the last candle flickered out. Alone in their new home, Nkem took her hands. "My love, don't be afraid. You're mine now." Nkem's heart pounded. Her hands trembled. "Maybe we should sleep." "We are tired," she whispered, voice shaky. Nkem chuckled softly. "Sleep. My wife, don't be shy. I've waited for this night." There was no escape. Hesitantly, trembling, she undressed. The moment his eyes fell on the secret she had hidden all her life, Nkem let out a piercing scream. In an instant, his world turned to darkness. "My eyes! My eyes!" he wailed, clutching his face. The entire village woke to his cries. People rushed into the house. Elders, women, children. "What happened? What is wrong?" they asked. But Nkem could only point at Nkem, shaking, his mouth frozen in horror. He could no longer see her. His eyes had gone blind, the elders murmured. Suspicion filled the room like smoke. But no one could explain what had happened. By morning, Nkem packed her things and walked away. No tears. No explanation. Her secret remained safe. But fate was not yet done with her. In the days that followed, whispers swirled through Umoy like harmattan dust. Some said she was cursed. Others blamed a strange illness. But no one knew the truth. Then came Ed. He was wealthier than Nkem, powerful and proud. His father a great chief. His mother descended from generations of rich traders. Ed had farms, horses, gold, enough riches to rival kings. When he saw Nkem in the market, his heart skipped. "Who is that?" he asked. "That's Nkem," his friend replied. "The most beautiful woman in Umoy. But be careful, there's mystery in her story." Laughed. "Mystery? No woman so beautiful can be dangerous. I will marry her." And just like that he began his pursuit. He sent her gifts from distant lands, beads that sparkled like stars, sacks of rice that could feed a family for a year. But Iseim only smiled sweetly and repeated, "No touching before marriage." He admired her even more soon. He asked for her hand in marriage. Their wedding was even grander than the first, a festival of music, dance, and feasting. The king himself sent gifts, but once again, the true knight came alone in their mansion. Ed whispered, "This night belongs to us." Iseim's heart beat wildly. Her hands grew cold. She tried to step away. Ed only smiled. "Don't be shy, my wife." With no escape, she slowly undressed. First, Ed stood frozen. Then, horror twisted his face. His mouth opened, but no sound emerged. He had lost his voice. Panic in his eyes, he clutched his ears. Then silence. It had gone deaf as well. He stumbled out into the night. His family, still drinking palm wine, rose in confusion. "What's wrong?" they asked. But he could not speak. He could not hear. The celebration turned to dread. Iseim stood silently in the doorway. An elder whispered, "This is not ordinary." First Emeka lost his sight. Now Ed his voice and hearing. Something is very wrong. His mother collapsed in tears. "Who did this to my son?" Villagers turned to Iseim. She shook her head. "I don't know. I swear." But no one believed her. By morning, Iseim had disappeared again. No goodbyes. Her secret was still hers alone, but the village now carried fear in every whisper. Still, fate was not done. Then came Obinna, the richest man in Umoy. He could have had any woman, but he wanted only one, Iseim. "This is the woman I've waited for," he said. His friends hesitated. "Have you not heard?" Emeka went blind. Cannot speak or hear. They both married Iseim. Obinna laughed. "Because two weak men lost their senses, I should fear her. I am Obinna. I have power. I fear no one." He pursued her with everything he had. Gold, fine fabrics, a house, even before she accepted his proposal. And when he asked, Iseim said yes. The wedding was legendary. But when the last drum fell silent and the candles flickered low, the real night began, and what Obinna saw when the lights came on was something no power, no riches, no pride could protect him from. What lay between her thighs made Obinna scream, a loud, chilling cry that echoed through the entire hotel. There, between Iseim's thighs, were not one but two female private parts, one in the usual place and another, smaller one, just below it. It was an unnatural sight, something that defied human understanding. Aina staggered backward, horror twisting his face. What is this?" he gasped, his voice trembling. His legs gave way as he stumbled, knocking over a wooden chair. His heart pounded like war drums. And then a knock at the door. "Obinna, what's happening in there?" came a voice. The knocks grew louder. Then the door burst open. Obinna's family, friends, and servants poured in. Soon the villagers followed. And in an instant, Iseim's secret was no longer hers alone. The bitter truth was out, and the long-hidden shame stood naked before the world. Whispers became curses. "She's a witch," someone shouted. "She brings bad luck." Another voice sneered. "Maybe she wanted to kill Obinna all along." The words pierced her like blades. Iseim trembled. Before she could speak, Obinna coughed hard. Blood spilled from his mouth. His eyes bulged in terror. And then he collapsed. His body convulsed, limbs twitching violently. Moments later he was dead. The man who had danced in his wedding robe only hours ago now lay lifeless. Iseim fell to her knees. Tears streamed down her cheeks. The voices around her rose like thunder. "She killed him. She deceived him. She's a demon." Iseim clutched her head. She wanted to disappear, to scream, to wake up from the nightmare. But she couldn't. She looked up, eyes swollen with tears, voice barely audible. "Please, let me speak. We don't want to hear anything from you, evil woman," a villager barked. "She must have used charms to trap Obinna." Iseim shut her eyes, drew in a shaky breath and began to speak. "I didn't ask for this," she whispered. The room fell silent. "I was born this way. I swear I never knew. Not until tonight." The villagers stared at her, their eyes filled with doubt and suspicion. But she continued, "I was 5 when my mother died." The crowd murmured. And so the truth began to unravel. Years ago, before Iseim understood pain, before she learned to smile to hide sorrow, she had been just a little girl, the only daughter in the house of a wealthy man with 6 wives. Her mother, Nika, the youngest and kindest of them, had given birth to her. But Nika's gift of a daughter made her the target of envy and hatred. In that house, boys were everything. Boys carried the name, inherited the land, brought honor. A girl was a shadow. Forgotten and unwanted, her 5 stepmothers despised Nika. "We bore him sons," hissed Manki, the second wife. "Yet look how he celebrates this girl," spat Mama Joa, the third. But the cruelest of all was the first wife, Mama Chitty, a woman with a heart blacker than the night. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, Mama Chitty made a vow. "This girl will never know happiness. I will see to it." That very night, Nika drank palm wine and never woke up. They said it was the gods, but Iseim knew the truth. Her mother was poisoned. Gasps filled the room. People covered their mouths. Others shook their heads. "After she died," Iseim said, "I became a slave." She did everything. Fetching water, cooking, cleaning, washing clothes. Yet she was given barely enough to eat, forced to sleep on the cold kitchen floor while the sons lay on soft mats. Her voice cracked, but she pressed on. I smiled. I laughed. I believed. One day it would get better. She paused, her chest rising and falling. But I didn't know they had done something to me, when I was still a baby. Silence. The elders leaned in. The villagers held their breath. And then, she told them the rest. In the heart of a dark forest lived a wicked herbalist, feared by all. They said he could turn a man into a goat with a single whistle. One moonless night, Mama Chitty crept into the woods, a black clay pot in her hand. Her heart filled with poison, she found the herbalist's hut and knocked. "Who dares disturb me?" came a growl. "It is I, Great One," she whispered. "I need your help." The door creaked open. Red eyes met hers. "You want to curse a child?" he asked, amused. She nodded. "Then you are more wicked than I imagined." He mixed a dark potion, crushed leaves, thick oil, whispered incantations. The room chilled. "Rub this on the baby every night," he said, handing her a cloth. "The curse will grow with her." That night, while the household slept, Mama Chitty tiptoed into Nika's room. Little Iseim slept peacefully. Mama Chitty rubbed the dark potion into her soft skin, night after night, whispering, cursing. By the time Iseim turned 5, the curse was complete. But no one, not even she, knew it now. Standing in the center of the hotel room, drenched in tears, she whispered, "I didn't know. I swear I didn't know." The villagers were stunned. Elders shook their heads. Her curse had been carved into her flesh before she even knew her own name. But what could she do now? The sky was dark. Torches burned. The whole village gathered, faces twisted with fear and fury. "She's a witch. She brings death. She must leave." Children clung to their mothers. Warriors stood ready. And in the center stood Iseim, her body shaking, her feet frozen. She turned to the one man who should have stood by her. "Papa," she whispered. Her father, arms crossed, face blank, said nothing. He didn't even meet her eyes. "Please," she begged. He turned away, her heart shattered. The elders stepped forward. "3 men have suffered because of her. One is blind. One is mute. One is dead. We cannot allow this evil among us." People roared. "Banish her. Please, I didn't know. I didn't do anything," she cried. 2 men grabbed her arms. "Papa, help me," she screamed. He did nothing. They dragged her away. Spit landed on her skin. Sand hit her eyes. Stones struck her back. She ran, through the village gate, into the cold night. She was no longer one of them. The forest swallowed her. Branches scratched her skin. Thorns tore her feet. Her body bled, but her heart bled more. "Why me?" she whispered to the night she walked for days. Hungry, lost, alone. Until one evening, the sky ablaze in crimson, she saw it. A small mud hut, hidden between two trees, smoke curled from its roof. Hope flickered, she knocked. An old woman opened the door. Her eyes sharp, her hair silver, her staff carved with strange symbols. She looked at Isheim, just once, and her face changed. "My child," she said softly, "you carry a curse." Isheim collapsed at her feet. "Please, help me, Mama. I have nowhere else to go." The woman stepped aside. "Come in, child." Warmth, fire, the scent of herbs and ancient secrets. "Eat," she said, handing Isheim a bowl of hot soup. "You need strength." And as Isheim ate, she wept. Then she told her everything, from Obina to the villagers, to her father's betrayal. The old woman listened, then placed her hand on Isheim's forehead, whispering softly. When she opened her eyes, they were full of truth. "It was your stepmother's," she said. Isheim gasped. "Why?" "Because their hearts were black with envy. They cursed you before you even had a chance to live." Isheim clenched her fists. She remembered the way they treated her. Her mother's death. The suffering. The lies. And now. The truth was clear. They had taken everything from her, but fate was not done with her yet. Isheim shouted, "My happiness! My life! They left me with nothing." Her body trembled with rage. Then she rose. Her voice was steady, her heart unshaken. "I must go back," she said. "I must face them." The old woman, Era, smiled softly. "Yes, child. It is time. The truth must come out." Isheim walked with purpose. She was no longer the frightened woman who had once fled into the forest. She was changed, stronger, wiser, ready. Era walked beside her, her wooden staff tapping against the earth. The forest that had once swallowed Isheim in sorrow now delivered her back in strength. The village came into view, the very place that had cast her out. She took a deep breath. No fear. No retreat. It was time. The villagers saw her before she reached the square. "She's returned," someone shouted. People rushed from their homes, staring, whispering. "Didn't we banish her? How is she still alive?" But Isheim did not stop. She walked straight to the elder's hut, where the village's oldest men, the ones who had condemned her, sat discussing matters of state. They froze when they saw her. The chief elder stood. "Isheim, what are you doing here? You are no longer one of us." Her voice was calm, clear, unbroken. "I've come for justice. I've come for the truth." The elders frowned. Villagers gathered around, their faces puzzled, intrigued. Then her stepmothers arrived. Mama Inya, Mama Ioma, and at the front Mama Chitty, the cruelest of them all. Their faces turned pale at the sight of Isheim. She turned to them, her eyes blazing. "You cursed me," she said. The crowd gasped. The stepmothers exchanged fearful glances. Mama Inya forced a nervous laugh. "What is this girl saying? Has the forest driven her mad?" Isheim didn't flinch. "You went to a herbalist. You used black powder on me when I was a child. You turned me into this." Silence. The villagers looked to the elders. The elders turned to the stepmothers. "Is this true?" one asked. Before they could deny it, Era stepped forward. From her bag, she pulled a small leather pouch. She opened it and poured black powder into her palm, the very substance that had cursed Isheim. Gasps echoed through the crowd. Mama Chitty's face drained of color. Her hands trembled. I don't know what that is." But Era was not finished. She lifted her staff and began to chant, ancient words only the wise remembered. The fire in the elder's hut flickered, danced, then blazed into a roaring flame. The villagers stepped back, startled. Then Mama Chitty collapsed. Her body trembled, her mouth opened, but no sound came. The elders approached, horror etched into their faces. "You did this to a baby," one whispered. Mama Chitty wept. She fell to her knees. "Please, forgive me." But the crowd was not ready for forgiveness. "This woman destroyed an innocent life," someone shouted. "She brought a curse upon us. She must be punished." A stone flew through the air. Then another. Then many more. Mama Chitty screamed as the first struck her shoulder, the second her back. The stones kept coming, fueled by years of anger and betrayal. Sime watched in silence. This was the woman who had ruined her life. And now she was paying for it. Mama Chitty's cries faded. Her body fell still. She was dead. The villagers turned to the other stepmothers, whose faces were pale with terror. They dropped to their knees, pleading, "Please, we only followed her. It was her idea." But the elders shook their heads. "You watched it happen. You allowed it. You will not live among us." And just like that they were banished, just as Isime had been. Only now they had nowhere to go. The curse had been broken. But Isime's heart still felt heavy. Would she ever feel whole again? Would she ever truly be free? Only time would tell. The village had spoken. Justice had been served. The women who had cursed her were gone. Their whispers had become screams, and their evil had led them to ruin. And yet, even though the truth had been revealed, even though she was no longer seen as a monster, Isime knew one thing. She could never stay. This place was no longer her home. The streets that once echoed with her laughter were now haunted by pain. The voices that once praised her beauty had turned against her. Though they welcomed her back, she would never belong here again. So one early morning, before the sun could rise, before anyone could see, Isime left. She journeyed far, through forests, across rivers, past villages where no one knew her name. And when she found a place where the wind smelled different, where the trees did not whisper her past, where eyes held neither fear nor pity, she stopped. This would be her new home. Life was hard at first. She had nothing. But Isime was no longer weak. She had endured too much to give up. She worked. She learned. She built herself from the ground up. And as months turned to years, she grew stronger. Her past no longer chained her. Her heart no longer ached. Isime was free. Then one day she met him, a man unlike Emeka, unlike Jay, unlike Obinna. He had gentle eyes and quiet strength. He did not chase her with gold. He did not worship her beauty. He saw her scars and loved her anyway. And for the first time in her life, Isime let herself love. Their wedding was simple, peaceful. No loud drums shaking the sky. No crowd of watching eyes. No whispers waiting for disaster. She wore a soft white cloth tied at her waist. She held his hands. And when he said, "I love you," she believed him. That night when she undressed, nothing happened. No screams. No blindness. No death. Because for the first time in her life, she was truly free. Months passed. Then came the day that changed everything. Isime cried and screamed in labor. Midwives surrounded her, their hands warm, their voices calming. "Push, Isime. Push." She had never known pain like this. But she had never known joy like this, either, when it was over, and the cries filled the room. The midwives gasped. She had given birth to 4 children, quadruplets, 2 boys, 2 girls. Tears rolled down her face as she held them close. She had lost so much. But now she had gained more than she ever dreamed. Back in her old village, the people still whispered about her. The girl who was cursed. The girl who vanished. But they never truly understood what happened. They didn't know that Isime had won. She was no longer a girl to be pitied. She was a woman who had conquered fate. She had survived. And in the end, she had triumphed.